Houston, Texas is the fourth largest city in the Union, in the state where size most definitely matters. Texas is bigger than Germany, the UK, Ireland, the Netherlands, and Belgium put together. Everything's bigger in Texas is the boast in these parts, and for some that extends to their waistline too.
You know, maybe they started out everything's big in Texas with the guys. You know, maybe that's how it started. It wasn't a big state, it was big people.
And here in the Lone Star State, big people have brought Houston a dubious status. It's America's fattest city. Obesity in Texas has now been called public enemy #1 by the medical profession.
If you could call being fat an epidemic, it's an epidemic.
While a staggering 2/3 of Texans are overweight and 1/3 are obese, many of them have no intention of slimming down.
I am not making any effort to lose weight, just to lose weight.
So just how have these larger-than-life Texans ended up being so big? And what is it about Texas that produces the fattest people in the fattest country in the world? Although obesity is raging throughout the entire United States, it's the southern states like Texas that tip the scales more than most. In a nationwide study by a men's fitness magazine, Houston has been named and shamed as the fattest city for 3 years running. Ordinary Houstonians reveal just what it is about the Texan lifestyle and attitudes that's turned this place into a land of giants. Wide-eyed, slack-jawed visitors to the state are often shocked by the sight of so much waddling weight. But in Texas, fat is normal. One of the reasons they are the fattest is they just don't care.
I've always been comfortable with my size. I've been large all of my life, but I come from a family of large people, and that was normal. So I never had a problem with my size or self-esteem.
Linda is just 5'4", but weighs 275 pounds. She's making a life-sized wire-frame model of herself and was shocked to realize just how big she'd become.
I thought, oh my goodness, look at the size of her. And I asked my husband, does that really look like me? And he said, you're right on target. It's just right there. I don't comprehend size in my mind, I think. You know, I read about people who are anorexic, who look in the mirror and see a fat person. Well, maybe I have the opposite. You know, I don't see this size person when I look in the mirror by any means. So when I saw her in 3D, it was just like, wow, now that's a fat person.
Diane weighs in at 625 pounds. She too makes no apologies for her size.
When I look back on both sides of the family, there is a lot of obesity. Granted, I'm the largest of everybody, but at the same time, you ask me, I'm the prettiest.
The standard measurement used for obesity is the body mass index, or BMI, a calculation of a person's weight in kilograms divided by the square of their height in meters. A healthy BMI should be between 19 and 24. Diane's is over 100. That puts her in the super morbidly obese class. She can no longer walk and needs constant attention from her home help, Lee.
I don't really look at her size. You know, I look with the person as herself. What I would never do would tell her or ask her, you know, Diane, would you ever think about losing weight? I would never do that because, as I say, she's a beautiful person, just like she is.
Just because you're fat doesn't mean that you're not attractive. In this shot, I was wearing a one-piece cat suit, which is stretch lace from shoulder down to ankle, nothing underneath it. I see myself in this as someone who is very comfortable in her own skin, someone who accepts herself, and makes no apologies to anybody, and also accepts the fact that, yes, she can be sensual.
Many Texans take a pride in their super size. They are famously competitive, and if they can't be the biggest, they want to be the best, even in the area of wanton gluttony.
I've done a lot of things in my life where I've raced cars and I've raced motorcycles and boats, and I could never win at anything. You know, so I figured one thing I do know I can do is eat. So I eat, and this is my accomplishments. I have no trophies here for boat racing, none for car racing, but I do get them for eating. I am an eating machine.
Bud's prodigious appetite as a competitive eater may be extraordinary, but carrying 100 pounds of excess weight like he does is absolutely nothing out of the ordinary in Houston.
If you look at my size, you'll see probably, I'd say a good 30% of the men in Houston or in Texas, not just Houston, are about my size. I mean, I'm kind of big, but you know, I still get up, go to work, and I can enjoy myself. You know, there's nothing I have limitations on doing, being as big as I am.
But Diane sees one rule for big men and another for big women.
In Texas, it seems that men of size, it's hunky-dory. It's okay. You know, they're chunky, they're muscular. I mean, how many fat men do you see with rolls of fat in their muscles? Their beer bellies hanging over their pants because they can't pull their pants up. For men, it's acceptable to be fat. Women, it's not.
Diane is meeting her friend Kathy. It's an opportunity to bemoan the unfair judgment she gets.
Hi, how you ladies doing today?
Fine.
Good, I got some chips and salsa here for you.
I look in the mirror, and there's nothing wrong with who I am or what I look like, if you open your mind. It's the tunnel vision-minded person who can't accept me because I know that I dress well for what's available in my size. I feel like I look good, and if I feel good in what I'm wearing, I know I'm presenting myself well. Part of it also goes back to if you feel good, you're going to look good. And if you're smiling with a happy face, you don't look your age, but if you're real sad and got the mully grubs, you age yourself. So many of the gentlemen I've met through the personals and that sincerely seem to think I should be just grateful to go out on a date. They seem to think that because of my size, I'm willing to be treated any which way or willing to do anything. I mean, just because I'm large doesn't mean I don't have morals. I don't have feelings. And I wish, you know, that they would take that into consideration. We're human too.
That's true. There are a lot of men that just are predators.
Yes.
Many are in denial about their weight problem, perhaps because the reasons for it will challenge almost everything about the comfortable lifestyle they've created. Does the Texan way of life come with too high a price to pay? The epidemic of obesity. Coming up, food, glorious food, as Bud makes short work of some monster meals.
It's unbelievable.
The prime suspect in the Texan lifestyle that causes so much obesity in Houston is food, enormous amounts of food. Champion eater Bud starts his day with a few appetizers.
Thank you. Yeah, we start the day usually with 3 donuts. And then about 10 o'clock, we'll stop at Whataburger and have a Whataburger. And after that, we'll have lunch about 1 o'clock.
But it's not all fast food in America's fattest city. The temptations to eat in Houston are vast and varied. It's one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the States, with a wealth of international cuisines competing for Texans' food dollars.
We'll cook it for another 30 minutes. Let the cheese melt on it. In Texas, everything revolves around eating. You are not a Texan unless you love barbecue. You must be a beef eater. You have to love food, period. Be it Italian, Chinese, Mexican, everything revolves around eating.
And Texans have a keen eye for a bargain when it comes to food. Bud especially will rise to a challenge if he can score a free meal.
Today, they got the free 32-ounce steak, if you can eat it. What it is, a chicken fried steak, breaded, mashed, or potatoes, salad. If you can do it, it's free. This is 32 ounces plus breading. So we're gonna give it a try today and see what happens.
The big problem with food in Houston is not that it's bad, it's just there's so much of it. Linda and her husband are meeting friends at a restaurant that, like most in this city, serves humongous portions. While this is seen as great value for money, Linda admits she doesn't know when she's eaten enough.
I don't understand that satisfied feeling. I can't grasp
full.
that concept yet.
I don't know full.
I don't know how to do that.
Siblings, big people?
We're all the same. We're all big, heavy people. Oh my goodness, look how big that is.
I'm glad yours is small.
I know.
Because of supersizing, a portion of French fries has gone from 200 calories in the 60s to more than 600 calories today. It seems price and value matter more than taste and presentation.
When we moved to Texas in 1973, if you went in to get a big, that would be a big meal.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a really big meal. Somewhere in the 80s, some marketing scheme said, let's raise the price of the meal, but let's give them more food. Don't give them expensive food, give them cheap stuff, beans and rice and whatever. But, oh, and lots of bread. And I don't remember that until maybe the 80s. But I don't know when platters got so big, because I've been taught to eat as much as is on that plate. Everything on that plate has to go.
Regardless of how hungry someone is, it's been shown that supersizing portions makes people eat more. Not that Bud needs much encouragement as he finishes his 32-ounce steaks.
Do you want a dessert, brownie or pecan pie?
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, you did awesome.
Would that be Frito?
I would hope that it would be. Let me ask.
Well, it didn't go too bad. 24 minutes, not as good as I expected, but it was a free dinner.
Not everyone is complacent about obesity. Someone who has had enough of being fat is 34-year-old Tiffany. She remarried in 2002 and has since taken stock of how she wants to look.
Looking good and feeling good is very important to me because, it tells a lot about you. I don't want to go through life being uncomfortable and miserable. I'm just tired. I really just want to enjoy the rest of my life. Like, in a way, I kind of feel like, not that I missed out on all my 20s, but I could have maybe been so much more, done so much more if I didn't have the weight kind of holding me back. And this is just a dress that I got for Christmas, maybe 2 Christmases ago from my mom. And I never could fit it. And I just want to know what it feels like to be able to put it on. I have a lot of clothes in my closet like that.
Obesity is far from being merely a cosmetic issue. It's directly responsible for a long list of today's most common and costly medical problems, from diabetes to heart disease. And it's getting worse, with obesity figures going up by 1% every year. Unable to stick to a diet, Tiffany has decided to take a drastic, high-tech, high-risk route to stop gaining weight. She's going to have her stomach stapled in an operation that could kill her.
I would say the main reason for me wanting the surgery, I mean, to look good, of course, but mainly to be healthier. So I can have many more days here on Earth with my son, and then it can give me the energy that I need for him, to work with him, to get the weight off of him also.
Tiffany's son Jordan has a fat problem too. He's already 168 pounds with a BMI of 32. That makes him obese. And he's not alone. 35% of Texan school children are overweight.
I'm 11 years old, and I weigh around 167 to 169, and I should weigh 95 to 100. At some points, I really do wish I was skinnier. They sometimes pick on me about it, and I really hate it, and that's why I'm trying to lose weight. If I grow up to be big, I probably really don't want to, and if I grow up to be skinny, I'll be happier.
Jordan's best friend is Johnny, who accepts him just the way he is.
He's big, but like, my mom says he dresses nice, and that's what makes him look better than most big people. And I say, if you dress nice, then that's just like saying that, hey, you're not that fat.
Since his metabolism is faster, then he can eat more than me without gaining more than 5 pounds.
He's my best friend. I don't care if he eat all my food. My mom likes that he eats, but I don't really eat. So I just give him all my extras, or I give him my food.
It's lunchtime for Jordan. Unhealthy meals served up in Texan schools have finally been recognized as contributing to juvenile obesity. Jordan's school now makes healthier, low-fat versions of kids' fast food favorites without them realizing the difference.
There's 4 different lines, and I usually go to those 3 lines right there, and then that's what I usually get with pizza, chicken nuggets, stuff like that.
For years, schools have boosted their incomes in partnerships with the fast food giants. In Houston, it's estimated that schools get $2 million a year from vending machine sales alone. Jordan's school has recently insisted on having only low-sugar drinks. Many don't. The rise of obesity among Texan school children is alarming. Severe obesity-related diseases are being found in children younger than ever before. There's now a growing fear that this is the first generation which may have shorter lifespans than its parents. The average Houstonian eats 3,800 calories a day. The problem is they need less than 2,000 calories for the amount of activity they do. You do the math. Food junkie Bud has moved on to one of Houston's many all-you-can-eat restaurants for his evening fix of food.
What we have here is we have Diablo fajitas, which is beef skirt, onions, green peppers, cheese, and as you see, we put the beans and the rice. See how it tastes. It's good.
Houstonians eat out more than people in any other city, and with the average cost of a meal being under $18, it's much cheaper than anywhere else.
I eat out 7 nights a week because it is cheaper for me to eat out. This meal right here is $11, and I can eat all I want. If I was to make this meal at home, this meal would cost me anywhere from $25 to $40.
Such cheap meals just encourage overeating as people scoff more to feel they're getting their money's worth.
I come in here on Super Bowl Sunday at 1 o'clock. I don't leave here till 7 o'clock. I eat from the time I get here till the time I get back. You know, it's unbelievable.
But all-you-can-eat one-price restaurants weren't designed for the likes of Bud's appetite.
I have been banned from 2 restaurants that were all you can eat. Because, like I say, they make their money on the people that can eat. I went through 2 complete prime ribs in 4 hours. They asked me if I would not come back again. You know, so I just don't understand. It don't make sense. You know, it's all you can eat.
Coming up, why the comfort and convenience of living in Texas is adding to the weight problem.
I am probably one of the laziest men you'll ever find.
Texans are fiercely proud of their state's history. For many, a connection with cowboys and a life outdoors is nostalgically kept alive in this era of air-conditioned comfort. Living in the rural outskirts of Houston, Richard enjoys the best of all worlds.
I think I probably fit pretty close to the image of a Texan. I think Texans are just good old boys. I enjoy the city and the nice restaurants and all that, but I prefer to come out here and sit around the fire and have a cold beer and eat a steak. My body image is old and fat, old and chunky. I'm comfortable with it. I mean, I can still do things, and I'm still pretty limber for a fat boy.
The cult of bigness doesn't stop at supersized meals. In Texas, big is beautiful.
Bigger is better, I guess, and maybe that might be a little Texas phrase there, but bigger is definitely better.
Richard's invited some friends over to his house for a barbecue. Big pickup trucks and beer bellies are very much the order of the day.
Oklahoma, we got Texas. Are you kidding me?
While his friends chill in his backyard, Richard's hard at work in the kitchen. Like many ordinary Texans, he is a connoisseur of food and an enthusiastic amateur cook.
I'm a regular guy to a point, but I just enjoyed cooking very much, very much. You know, fast food, I think, is overrated, and I like the more exotic foods, I guess you could call it. And I think it's much better to eat a meal like I'm preparing right now than fast food any day. And it just doesn't take that long to do it.
Never trust a skinny barbecue cook.
Mom, I'm talking.
I'm listening.
And then a Nintendo 64 games, and then an Xbox game, and an Xbox.
Okay.
I love you.
Like many busy Houstonians, Tiffany often takes the easy fast food option at the end of the day and orders a carryout for herself and Jordan. She's easily seduced into ordering more than she needs.
Like you have what, a meat lovers? Can I have a large meat lovers pizza? Which one is the thick one? I want the thick one. Okay, that's what I want. Pan pizza. Okay, so if I get one large meat lovers pizza, I can get a medium for $1.99. Okay, and a 2-liter drink. What kind of drink you have?
Richard